apparently finding designer lingerie that mysteriously isn't. Yours in your husband's SUV isn't what therapists recommend as a marriage enrichment activity. Welcome to my perfectly normal Tuesday afternoon that morphed into the season finale of My Husband's Secret Life, a show I never auditioned for, but somehow became the involuntary leading lady of. My name is Nia Jones. I'm 38 years old, and until last week, I genuinely believed I was living the upper-middle-class dream in Upper Marlboro, Maryland. We had the house with the pool we could barely afford, thanks to creative budgeting and occasional overtime. 2 kids whose soccer schedules required NASA-level coordination, and a husband of 12 years who, I thought, was simply navigating a predictable mid-40s crisis. The sudden gym obsession, the new protein shakes in the fridge, the way he started checking himself in every reflective surface, it all seemed like classic. Darius trying to outrun Father Time. Spoiler alert, the gym had a name. Amani Williams, 29, personal trainer, size small. Let me rewind and paint this disaster in the appropriate American technicolor. I'm a dental hygienist. Yes, the person who spends her days making grown adults feel guilty for not flossing while having her gloved fingers deep in their mouths. I listen to their life stories, nod sympathetically at their excuses. I swear I floss every day, Nia, and gently remind them that plaque doesn't lie. It's steady work, decent pay, and after 12 years in the same practice, I've built a rhythm. Patients trust me. They tell me things they wouldn't tell their spouses. I've become an accidental confessor in Scrubs. Darius is an account manager at a mid-sized software firm, the kind of job where every email ends with, "Let's circle back on this." And he wears chinos like they're a uniform. He complains about corporate synergy over our weekly Whole Foods rotisserie chicken dinners, then kisses me on the forehead and says he's grateful for our little life. We have 2 children, Zola, 10 going on 16, TikTok obsessed and already mastering the art of eye rolling, and Langston, 7, who collects rocks and dead bugs with the enthusiasm of a tiny mad scientist. Our marriage wasn't perfect. Whose is? But I thought we were solid. The kind of couple who could passive-aggressively load the dishwasher to make a point, yet still remember exactly how the other liked their coffee. Black for him, oat milk and 2 Splendas for me. We had date nights at P.F. Chang's when my mother watched the kids. Survived the sleepless newborn years, the financial tightrope of daycare and mortgages, even that unfortunate beard phase where Darius looked like a lost Brooklyn hipster trying to find his way back to suburbia. Then came last Tuesday. I was driving our Chevrolet Traverse, the quintessential vehicle that screams, "I've surrendered to suburban life," picking up dry cleaning and mentally running through the dinner menu. Zola had soccer practice until 6. Langston needed to finish his bug diorama for science, and Darius had texted that he was hitting the gym hard after work. Again, I reached under the passenger seat for the emergency pack of Orbit gum. Always keep there, because coffee, breath is a professional hazard, and my fingers brushed something plastic. A shopping bag, Victoria's Secret, pink and unmistakable. My stomach did a slow, nauseating flip. If Darius had bought me lingerie, it would have been a miracle. The last time he'd attempted anything remotely romantic in the bedroom department was 3 years ago, and even then it was more obligation than passion. His usual special occasion gifts are Amazon gift cards with the romance of a utility bill. I pulled the bag out slowly as if it might explode. Inside, a red lace bra and matching thong, tags still attached. Size small. I wear a medium on my most optimistic days, usually after Spanx and prayer. "Well, this is awkward," I said aloud to the empty car. My brain immediately launched into the mental gymnastics wives have perfected since the dawn of time. Maybe it's for me and he got the wrong size. Optimistic delusion level, expert. Maybe it's a gift for his sister, some weird family secret Santa thing. Unlikely. His sister is 52 and prefers sensible cotton. Could Langston be going through a very specific, worryingly adult exploration phase? No, just no. The rational part of my brain, the part that knows Darius still wears boxers with actual holes because they're still functional, knew exactly what this was. I did what any reasonable adult would do. I drove straight to the nearest Starbucks, ordered a large latte with an extra shot of espresso, parked in the back corner spot. and allowed myself exactly 15 minutes for the nervous breakdown. Caffeine helps. Then I pulled out my phone and switched into full DC spy mode. First stop, our shared bank app. We've had joint access since the early days of marriage. Transparency was supposed to be our thing. And there it was, glowing like radioactive betrayal. Victoria's Secret. 187.43 posted 2 days ago. The same day Darius claimed he was hitting the gym hard after work. $187. For scraps of red fabric that wouldn't cover a sandwich. The financial betrayal stung almost as much as the emotional one. Almost. Next, Google Maps location history. We'd turned on sharing years ago during one of his business trips to Seattle. I was convinced he'd get lost between the hotel and the convention center. This man once got lost in our neighborhood giant foods. I pulled up his timeline for the purchase date. The little blue dot didn't hover over Equinox or any gym. It sat squarely at Macy's in Tyson's Corner. My latte grew cold as I moved to social media. I'd never bothered monitoring his accounts before. I assumed he only used them for unfunny memes and arguing football, stats with college buddies. But now I scrolled with purpose. Patterns spotted almost immediately. Darius had been systematically liking and occasionally commenting with fire. Emojis on photos posted by Auntie Williams. Her profile picture toned. Tanned, blonde, in workout gear, holding a protein shake like it was the Holy Grail. Perfect teeth. Perfect everything. I clicked through to her public profile. Thank God, or thank narcissism, for people who keep everything open for maximum followers. Auntie Williams, 29, personal trainer at Elite Fitness, Darius's gym. Lover of sunsets, green smoothies, and inspirational quotes about becoming your best self. Her feed was a shrine to fitness culture, workout videos, color-coded meal prep, captions about breaking limits that suddenly carried double meaning. I kept scrolling, latte forgotten, heart hammering. Jackpot, a group photo from a gym event 3 weeks earlier. Darius lurked in the background, staring at Auntie with the exact expression Langston wears when eyeing the Target Christmas toy catalog. Mutual connections? Bingo. Auntie followed Shayla, Darius's cousin. The family connection. Shayla, who'd been telling Darius for months he should get in shape for his 40th. Then came the most recent post. Christmas Eve prep at her mother's house in Richmond, Virginia. Caption: prepping for the best Christmas Eve dinner with the family. Mama's famous baked macaroni and cheese and all the fixings. Blessed family time. Location tagged. I clicked through to the mother's profile. Dolores Williams, 64, parish volunteer coordinator. Award-winning pound cake baker, proud grandmother. Public profile full of church events, family photos. The picture-perfect Black American holiday scene. That's when the idea crystallized, sharp, nuclear, and oddly satisfying. I'd spent years cleaning other people's teeth, listening to their problems while they sat vulnerable in my chair, mastering the polite smile that says this won't hurt a bit right before it hurts a lot. I'd perfected patience. Now it was time to use those skills differently. For 3 days, I played the perfect wife. I went to work, packed lunches, washed Darius's gym clothes, asked about his workouts with genuine-sounding interest. I watched him text under the dinner table and pretended not to notice. Meanwhile, I shopped. A chic black dress that made me look 10 pounds lighter. A salon blowout that framed my face perfectly. Makeup that wasn't from the drugstore aisle. I folded the red lingerie set carefully, placed it in a glossy gift box with gold ribbon, and wrote the card in my neatest handwriting. Auntie, you left this in my husband's car. Thought you might want it back. Best wishes, Nia Jones. Darius's wife, on Christmas Eve at exactly 9:15 p.m. I drove to the Richmond address I'd found through light Facebook stalking. The townhouse was immaculate, holiday wreath on the door, black nativity scene glowing through the window, laughter and conversation drifting out. I rang the bell, gift box in hand, wearing my best dental hygienist smile, the one that promises gentleness right before delivering the deep clean. The door opened. A woman in her 60s, festive reindeer apron, warm smile. Dolores Williams, the matriarch. "Hello, good evening," she said. "Can I help you?" I held the smile. "Hello, Miss Williams. I'm Nia Jones. I'm so sorry to interrupt your Christmas Eve. But Auntie left something important in my husband Darius's car." I thought it would be appropriate to return it personally. Her eyebrows lifted slightly, but Southern hospitality kicked in. Oh, how thoughtful! Please come in for a moment. I won't stay long, I assured her, stepping into a foyer that smelled like roast lamb, cinnamon, and family tradition. The living room opened like a holiday magazine spread. Grand dining table with real cloth napkins, golden turkey. The entire Williams clan gathered. Grandparents, siblings, spouses, children in party clothes. And there she was, Auntie, cream sweater, flawless waves in her blonde hair, mid-laugh until she saw me. Her face froze. The room went silent. Vinyl record scratch moment. I'm sorry, what was your name? Dolores asked, still trying to host. Nia Jones, Darius Jones's wife. I smiled directly at Auntie, whose skin had gone the color of the red wine on the table. Darius and I have been married for 12 years. We have 2 wonderful children. Amani's eyes darted to the box, then to me, then around the room for escape routes that didn't exist. Ami, honey, do you know Ms. Jones? Her mother asked. I stepped forward and placed the box on the table. The gold ribbon caught the chandelier light like a warning flare. It's Victoria's Secret, I added helpfully. I believe it cost $187.43, my husband's credit card. Statement was very specific. Silence so thick you could hear the pecan pie cooling in the kitchen. Dolores untied the ribbon with trembling hands. The red lace set lay there, size S tag, glaring, note visible. Her hand flew to her mouth. Oh my goodness. Mr. Williams leaned over, then shot upright, face flushing with righteous fury. Ami Isabel Williams, he thundered. What does this mean? Amani whispered. Daddy, can I explain? Explain why another woman's husband bought you underwear? Her mother cut in, the word underwear dripping with disgust. Amani's sister-in-law pulled her children closer. Her teenage niece already had her phone out. Probably live streaming to the family group chat. I added one final twist. Oh, I should mention, Darius told me he was at the gym when he bought this. Apparently leg day now includes a lingerie detour. Fascinating workout routine. Dolores turned to her daughter, tears in her eyes. Are you messing with a married man who has children? After everything we taught you about faith and family values? I co-coordinate pre-marriage counseling at the church. Amani stammered. Mom, Dad, it's not what it looks like. It looks like my husband bought you expensive lingerie while telling me he was working out, I supplied cheerfully. Also, he charged it to our family card, the one we use for our kids' expenses. Zola needs braces next year. Every penny counts. Amani's 6-year-old nephew piped up, Auntie Amani, why did another lady's husband buy you panties? That was the moment the sister-in-laws, wine sprayed across the white, tablecloth in a perfect Rorschach of implosion. Children, to the living room, Mr. Williams boomed. I turned to leave, chaos erupting behind me. As I walked to my car, I heard him through the open door. In my house on Christmas Eve, the Lord is testing me. The Traverse felt lighter on the drive home. I cranked Beyoncé's Irreplaceable loud enough to rattle the windows. The kids were safe at my mother's. My mother had winked when I dropped them off, talking about keeping the fire alive. If only she knew what kind of fire. I just started. Halfway home, my phone exploded. Darius, panicked texts, calls. I answered on Bluetooth. Nia, where are you? I just got like 15 texts from Amani. What did you do? Hello, honey, I said sweetly. How was your Christmas Eve? Enjoy your workout? Nia, what have you done? I returned property to its rightful owner. Victoria's Secret has a strict no-return policy on intimate apparel. Hygiene issues, you know. A red light. I checked my reflection. I looked good. Really good. By the way, Amani's mom makes an amazing turkey. From what I saw before, things went sideways. You went to her parents' house? You should call her. She might need emotional support. Her dad looked ready for a coronary, and her mom was questioning every parenting choice she ever made. I'm coming home right now. Click. Perfect, exactly as planned. The Traverse felt different as I drove away from the Williams. Family disaster, lighter somehow. As if distributing the weight of my humiliation had physically lifted the SUV a few inches off the road. Beyoncé's Irreplaceable blasted through the speakers at a volume that would have earned me an eye roll. From Zola and ear covering from Langston. But they weren't with me. They were at my mother's house, blissfully unaware that their father had just become the star of the suburban version of every Tyler Perry movie about infidelity. I dropped them off earlier, with the excuse that Mom and Dad need some adult time. My mother had winked and said something about keeping the fire alive. If only she knew the kind of fire I'd just set, one that reduces entire lives to ashes. I was halfway home when my phone exploded with notifications. Darius calling. Darius texting. Darius apparently discovering that secrets don't stay secret when you leave 187 worth of evidence under the passenger seat. I connected the Bluetooth and let his voice fill the car. Nia, where are you? I just got like 15 texts from Amani. What did you do? The panic in his voice was delicious, like the first sip of good wine after scraping calculus off whiny patience. Teeth all day. Hello, honey, I replied in the sweetest tone I could muster. How was your Christmas Eve? Did you enjoy your workout today? Nia, what have you done? I paused at a red light, checking my reflection in the rearview mirror. The blowout still held. The black dress still flattered. I looked composed, powerful. I returned property to its rightful owner. Victoria's Secret has a strict no-return policy on intimate apparel. You know, hygiene issues. Another pause. I could almost hear him swallowing. By the way, Amani's mom makes an amazing turkey. From what little I saw before things went sideways, of course. You went to her parents' house? His voice hit a pitch I'd only heard once. When he found a spider in the shower and screamed like he was auditioning for a horror movie. You should call her, I suggested helpfully. She might need some emotional support right now. Her dad looked like he was about to have a coronary, and her mom was questioning every parenting decision she's ever made. The conversation at the Christmas Eve table went from passing the yams to, my daughter is a homewrecker. Pretty quickly. I'm coming home right now. The line went dead. Perfect, exactly as planned. I pulled into our driveway and hurried inside. I had maybe 20 minutes before Darius arrived, and I needed to be ready. This was only the second act of my carefully orchestrated symphony of revenge. While waiting, I checked Amani's Instagram. Her latest post from that morning showed a perfect manicure next to a tray of red velvet cupcakes. Caption: grateful for new beginnings, blessed, excited, family first. The irony was so thick you could spread it on a biscuit. Then my phone vibrated with a message from an unknown number. It's Shayla, Darius's cousin. I just heard what happened from Amani. I'm so incredibly sorry. I had no idea she was seeing Darius. I thought they just knew each other from the gym. Call me if you need anything. Interesting. So Shayla hadn't been the matchmaker after all. She was collateral damage in Darius's web of lies. I saved her number. Having an ally in the family could prove useful. Another vibration. A text from one of the assistants at my clinic. OMG, Nia. Amani Williams just went private on her Instagram. Everyone is talking about what happened at her Christmas Eve dinner. Tracy's sister-in-law is neighbors with Amani's cousin, and she heard everything. Call me. Small towns masquerading as cities. You had to love them. The Upper Marlboro gossip network moved faster than our internet connection. I heard Darius's car screech into the driveway. Showtime. He burst through the door looking like he'd aged 5 years in the last hour. Face flushed, hair messed up, still wearing the holiday sweater his mom had given him last Christmas, the one that made him look like a walking Hallmark movie advertisement. Have you lost your mind? He hissed, closing the door behind him and glancing out the picture windows to make sure the neighbors weren't witnessing his breakdown. Interesting choice for a conversation starter, I replied, calmly sipping the chamomile tea I'd brewed while waiting. I was hoping for something. Like, I'm sorry I betrayed our marriage, or please forgive me for buying another woman. Lingerie with our family credit card. But, hey, let's go with, have you lost your mind? Very original. You humiliated Amani in front of her entire family on Christmas Eve. I set down my teacup with exaggerated care. Fascinating that your first concern is her shame and not, say, the fact that you've been cheating on your wife of 12 years and the mother of your children. Darius ran his hands through his hair, a nervous college era. Tick that surfaced whenever he was caught in a lie, like the time he claimed to be studying when he was actually at a bar watching the NBA Finals. It's not what you think. Oh, it's not? Because I think you've been sleeping with your 29-year-old personal trainer while telling me you were getting in shape for your 40th birthday. I think you bought her lingerie with our family card, the same one we use for Langston's asthma medication. I think you've been living a double life and assumed I was too busy with the kids and work to notice. We need to calm down and discuss this rationally, he said, shifting tactics. The account manager in him was emerging, the one who soothed angry clients with corporate jargon and empty promises. Rationally? You want rationality? Fine, let's be rational. I stood and walked toward our home office. Darius followed. Confusion etched across his face like one of his endless PowerPoint slides. I opened my laptop and spun it toward him. What am I looking at? He asked, squinting. This, dear Darius, is what I like to call Exhibit A for our divorce proceedings. I smiled sweetly. It's a comprehensive log of your affair with Auntie. Timestamps, locations, credit card charges, discrepancies between your stories and where your phone actually showed you were. I've just been connecting very obvious dots. His face went from flushed to pale faster than property taxes rose last year. You've been tracking me. No, you've been tracking yourself. Your Google timeline, our shared bank app, your very public likes on Amani's photos, the gym check-ins that mysteriously align with her personal training, schedule she posts online. Did you know you haven't actually worked out in approximately 6 weeks? Yet somehow you've spent $340 at the smoothie bar there. Must be very thirsty work watching Amani demonstrate squats. This is an invasion of privacy, he sputtered, indignation flooding his voice. I laughed, truly laughed, and it felt marvelous. Privacy in a marriage? That's rich coming from the man who once insisted we share our email passwords because couples shouldn't have secrets. Remember that? It was right after I found those texts from your college ex-girlfriend, and you swore you were just catching up. Darius collapsed into the office chair, the reality finally sinking in like wet concrete. What do you want, Nia? There it was, the million-dollar question. What did I want? Revenge? Yes, and I'd tasted the first bite at the Williams house. But that was the appetizer. I wanted the main course. I want you to look at the second tab of that spreadsheet. He clicked. His eyes widened as he scanned. This is everything we own. Assets, accounts, property, investments, everything. Do you notice anything interesting in the distribution column? He scrolled, face growing more distraught with each line. You've allocated 70% to yourself, plus primary custody of the children, the house and the Traverse, which, by the way, needs new brake pads. You might want to take care of that before I take possession. This is insane. No court. Actually, I interrupted. According to Patricia, you remember her. My Thursday afternoon. Patient who happens to be one of the best divorce attorneys in D.C. This is a rather generous offer considering the documented infidelity, the misuse of family funds, and the fact that I have proof you took Amani to our mountain apartment in Shenandoah last month when you told me you were on a team-building retreat. His head snapped up. How? The security cameras at the apartment also send alerts to my phone. Genius. I saw you arrive with her on October 12th at 7:43 p.m. Have the whole recording. Hadn't actually watched beyond the arrival. Some things are better left unseen. But he didn't need to know that. I made a mistake, he whispered, abandoning the indignant act. I got carried away. She paid attention to me, made me feel young again. Save the midlife crisis explanation for your therapist, I said. Here's what's going to happen. You're going to sign these papers. I pulled a manila folder from the desk drawer. Then you're going to pack a suitcase and stay at the extended. Stay America off the highway. I already booked you a room. Tomorrow you'll come back at noon to explain to Zola and Langston why Daddy won't be living at home anymore. You've thought of everything, he said. A mixture of defeat and grudging admiration in his voice. I've spent 12 years managing our entire family's life while you focused on your career and apparently your extracurricular activities. Planning comes naturally to me. I watched him trudge upstairs to pack. For the first time in years, I felt something unexpected, not satisfaction. Not rage, but a strange calm, the kind that arrives when you finally know exactly who you are and what you deserve. My phone vibrated. Text from my mother. Kids are fine. Want me to let them sleep here? I replied, yes, please. Everything is going exactly according to plan. The next day dawned with the pristine clarity that follows emotional hurricanes. I'd slept better than I had in months, sprawled diagonally across our king-sized bed, a small freedom that felt revolutionary after years of sticking to my side. I woke early, brewed coffee, reviewed my battle plan. Darius would return at noon to talk to the kids, who'd arrive from my mother's at 11. That gave me 3 hours for Phase 3, the financial reckoning. I logged into our bank accounts, investment portfolios, retirement plans, before Darius left for the extended stay, which, judging by his expression, might as well have been called prolonged stay in purgatory. He'd signed the authorization papers, allowing me to make certain changes. First, I transferred his share of the emergency fund, minus the cost of Zola's upcoming braces and Langston's summer camp for his asthma, to a new account solely in my name. Next, I paid off my car and both credit cards using joint savings. Then I contacted our investment advisor to initiate division of retirement plans per the agreement. By 10:30, I'd secured our financial future, mine and the children's. Darius would still walk away with his retirement and enough to start over. But the days of him controlling our family finances were over, like his youth, his reliability, and his ability to hide lingerie properly. At 11, my mother's Subaru pulled in. I watched from the window as Zola emerged head down, probably texting friends. Langston scrambled out behind her, clutching a new rock for his collection. My mother followed, carrying backpacks, wearing her signature, "I have opinions about your life choices" expression. "How are you holding up, honey?" she asked as soon as the kids scurried to their rooms. "Surprisingly well," I answered honestly. "It's amazing how quickly 12 years of marriage can be reorganized when you find red lingerie that isn't yours." Her lips tightened. "Darius called your father this morning. That was unexpected. And your dad told him he's lucky you didn't light his clothes on fire in the yard," she smiled grimly. Then he hung up. Retired military fathers have a marvelous way of cutting to the chase. "Did Dad mention if Darius tried to defend himself?" "Apparently he said something about a temporary lapse. And your father asked if he'd temporarily forgotten? He had a wife and 2 kids for the last few months." She patted my hand. I took a deep breath. I sat the children on the couch. "It's not about getting a pool," I began. "It's something more serious." Langston hugged his rock tighter. "Is Daddy sick?" "No, honey. Daddy is healthy, physically at least." The doorbell rang at exactly noon. Say what you will about Darius Jones, but the man was punctual for important meetings and apparently for scheduling his infidelities. He looked terrible, red-rimmed eyes, wrinkled clothes, missed spot while shaving. "Come in," I said formally, as if he were a door-to-door salesman instead of the man who'd seen me give birth twice. The children rushed him with usual enthusiasm. For their sake, I kept my face neutral instead of the "your father is a walking disappointment" expression I'd practiced in the mirror. "Why don't we all sit down?" I suggested after the hugs. "Daddy has something important to tell you." Darius shot me a look that said, "I thought we were doing this together." I returned one that said, "You made this mess. You get to start cleaning it up." "Zola, Langston," his voice cracked, "your mother and I have decided that I'm going to live somewhere else for a while." Zola's phone dropped into her lap. A miracle. "Are you guys getting divorced?" Leave it to a 10-year-old to cut straight to the chase. She definitely got that from my side. "Yes," I answered, when Darius seemed to choke on the word. "We are getting divorced." Langston's lip trembled. "But why don't you love each other anymore?" Darius looked like a man facing a firing squad. "Sometimes adults make mistakes. I made a very big mistake that hurt Mommy a lot." "What did you do?" Zola demanded, suddenly protective. Darius looked at me for help. I raised an eyebrow. "You dug this hole." "I wasn't honest with your mother," he said carefully. "I broke promises I made when we got married." Zola's eyes narrowed, eerily like my mother's. "You cheated on her, didn't you?" Like Olivia's dad with her nanny. The accuracy left Darius speechless. I put my arm around Langston, who'd started to sob. "Yes, Zola, Daddy had a relationship with someone else. That's why we can't be married anymore." "Is she prettier than Mom?" Zola asked, glaring at her father. "No one is prettier than your mother," Darius replied. For a brief moment, I almost remembered why I'd married him. Almost. The conversation continued. New living arrangements, visitation schedules, repeated assurances that none of this was their fault and that we both loved them more than anything. After an emotionally exhausting hour, Darius left with promises to call that night and see them tomorrow. Langston clung to me. Zola stomped to her room, a preview of teenage years ahead. Just as Darius pulled out, a sleek black Mercedes-Benz pulled up behind him. Patricia Vess, divorce attorney. Extraordinaire, and my Thursday patient for 6 years emerged with a leather briefcase. The look on Darius's face as he recognized her was worth every penny of her. 400 an hour rate. He drove away defeated. Patricia greeted me at the door. Always punctual. Always, she smiled professionally. He signed the preliminary papers. Every page. Excellent. And how did the children take it? As expected. Zola figured it out immediately. Langston is confused but resilient. Children are surprisingly adaptable. Now let's make sure your financial security is more ironclad than my mother's sweet potato pie recipe. For the next 2 hours, we finalized documents, made calls, secured my position. By the time Patricia left, I had transformed from soon-to-be-divorced mom to independent woman with a legally bulletproof future. I was making dinner, tomato sauce simmering, when my phone vibrated. Dolores Williams, your husband's cousin Shayla gave me your number. I want to apologize for my daughter's behavior and let you know that in our home, we do not tolerate family wrecking. We have asked Amani to find somewhere else to live and reflect on her choices. If you need anything, please don't hesitate to call. P.S. I have removed her as co-coordinator of the church youth group. I saved the number, strangely touched by this gesture from a woman whose Christmas Eve I'd spectacularly ruined. Another message from the clinic director. Just heard Amani Williams was fired from Elite Fitness after 3 clients, all married. Women complained about her training methods with their husbands. Your Christmas Eve surprise is the talk of every salon in Upper Marlboro. See you Monday. P.S. We are all on your side. I smiled as I stirred the sauce. The universe has a way of balancing its accounts, and sometimes it helps to give it a little nudge. Darius called again. I let it go to voicemail. Whatever crisis he was having could wait. Tonight was for me and the children. Our first dinner in what the divorce papers clinically called the newly restructured family unit. I had a better name for it, the start of our next chapter. 6 months can change everything. Half a year since the Christmas Eve lingerie incident as my co-workers at the clinic now reverently refer to it, and life has reorganized itself into something I never imagined. Something better, cleaner, brighter, the kind of better that sneaks up on you when you stop, waiting for permission to claim it. Spring in Maryland is a chaotic affair. Pollen that turns every car yellow. Tourists fleeing colder climates to clog the Beltway. And in my case, the final divorce decree. Arriving by certified mail on a Tuesday morning in April, I signed for the envelope wearing the same black dress I'd worn to deliver that gift box to the Williams family dinner. Poetic symmetry, even if I was the only one who appreciated it. The papers felt surprisingly light in my hand. 12 years reduced to 37 pages of legalese, notarized signatures, and a judge's stamp. I placed them in the fireproof safe in the home office, now just my office, and poured myself a celebratory cup of coffee. No oat milk, no Splenda. Black, strong, the way I actually like it when no one is watching. Zola wandered into the kitchen, phone in one hand, apple in the other. Mom, everybody knows you hate small dogs, she said, without looking up from her screen. Just like everybody knew Dad was acting shady with his phone for months. I raised an eyebrow. Excuse me? She grabbed a seat at the island. Langston and I talked about it. We're glad you're not sad anymore. A lump formed in my throat so suddenly I almost choked on my coffee. When did you get so wise? She shrugged with elaborate nonchalance, the kind only a 10-year-old can pull off convincingly. Probably when Dad tried to convince us that the pool at his new apartment makes up for missing my science fair. It doesn't, by the way. She took a bite of the apple and walked off, leaving me staring at the empty doorway. After she left, I sat at my kitchen island and let the moment settle. The unexpected gifts that had sprung from Darius's betrayal were starting to feel less like consolation, prizes, and more like the real inheritance. First, self-respect. I had always prided myself on being forgiving, accommodating, understanding, the wife who smoothed edges, kept peace, made sure everyone else was comfortable. It turns out those qualities, taken to an extreme, become doormat behavior. The day I walked into the Williams family's Christmas Eve with that gold ribbon box was the day I reclaimed something I hadn't even realized I was missing, myself. Second, community, the Upper Marlboro. Mom Mafia, what my office staff now calls the network of women who rallied around me, had shown up in ways I never expected. Meal drop-offs during the first brutal weeks. Babysitting offers when I needed to cry in the shower without an audience. Fierce, quiet loyalty. And most satisfyingly, the social exile of both Darius and Amani from anywhere. Nicer than a Wawa. Word travels. Fast in these circles. Faster than gossip, actually. It travels at the speed of righteous anger. Third, freedom. The freedom to eat ice, cream straight from the container without commentary on portion control. The freedom to watch true crime documentaries instead of endless football games. The freedom to rediscover who Nia Jones was before she became Mrs. Darius Jones. I had been promoted from dental hygienist to clinic director 3 months ago. The raise made Darius's alimony feel more like a nice bonus than a necessity. I started photography classes on weekends. Nothing serious. Just learning how light hits skin, how shadows tell stories. I joined a book club that actually reads and debates the books instead of just drinking wine and complaining about husbands. I rediscovered my pre-marriage passion for hiking. Last weekend I hiked Great Falls for the first time in years. The trail was muddy from spring rain, the river roaring, the views sharp and clean. I sent a selfie from the overlook to my new group chat, aptly named Post-Divorce Glow-Up Committee. Responses flooded in immediately. Queen, that view is giving what it's supposed to give. Tell me you're wearing the black dress again. You look like someone who just won her life back. I smiled at the memory now. Standing on the back patio, as the DC sunset painted the sky in vibrant oranges and pinks, the perfect backdrop for quiet contemplation. If someone had told me last Christmas Eve that I would be sitting here now, divorced, thriving, genuinely happy, I would have thought they were delirious. But life is curious that way. Sometimes the worst betrayals lead to the best beginnings. Sometimes you need to open a box of red lingerie to close the chapter on a life that was never quite right. Speaking of Darius, he adapted to weekend dad status with all the enthusiasm of a man assigned court-mandated community service. He'd recently been promoted at work, apparently, fewer family obligations, freed up time to climb the corporate ladder, and had started sending the children elaborate gifts I strongly suspected were chosen by his secretary. Expensive sneakers for Langston, designer headphones for Zola, the kind of presents that scream, "I'm sorry," without ever saying the words. He still called every Sunday night to check in. The conversations were polite, clipped, functional. We talked about schedules, report cards, dentist appointments. Never about us, never about what happened. I preferred it that way. My phone vibrated with a calendar reminder, girls' night at Marcella's house. 7 p.m. Another unexpected gift, real friendships with women. I previously only knew as Tyler's mom or Zola's. Friend's mom, nothing. Bonds women faster than helping one of their own rise from the ashes of an unfaithful husband's fire. We laughed louder now. We cried when we needed to. We toasted to new beginnings without apology. As for Amani, well, the universe had finished its balancing act without any further nudging from me. She'd moved out of her mother's house within weeks. Dolores Williams had followed through. Amani was no longer co-coordinator of the church youth group. Elite Fitness had let her go after multiple complaints from married female clients about inappropriate training methods with their husbands. The gossip mill reported she'd relocated to Northern Virginia, started fresh at a boutique gym, kept her social media private. I didn't check anymore. I didn't need to. My phone buzzed again. A text from Shayla, Darius's cousin, the one who'd apologized that first night. Hey Naya, just checking in. The family reunion is coming up in July. No pressure, but the kids are always welcome. And honestly, you too. We're on your side. Always were. I smiled, typed back, thank you. We'll see how the summer looks. Appreciate you. Another buzz, my mother. Elena's pool tomorrow after soccer? Kids can sleep over. You deserve a night off. Elena, my sister, had become another strengthened relationship post-divorce. Her pool was bigger than Darius's apartment complex one, a fact the children delighted in pointing out to their father every chance they got. I replied, yes, please. Tell Elena I'm bringing wine. The good stuff. Langston appeared in the patio doorway, interrupting my thoughts. Mom, can Tyler come over tomorrow to see my new rock collection exhibit? Sure, honey. I'll text his mom. Thanks. He paused. Oh, and Dad called. Said he might be late picking us up Saturday because of a work thing. Langston shrugged, already so matter-of-fact about it. I told him it's okay because we're going to Aunt Elena's pool. Afterward, anyway. He ran back inside to organize his precious rocks. I opened a bottle of Merlot, not the cheap stuff Darius always bought, but the good one I'd discovered on my girls' trip to Napa last month. I poured a generous glass and stepped back onto the patio. The sunset deepened. Fireflies began to wink in the grass. Somewhere down the street, a lawnmower droned its evening song. Normal sounds, peaceful sounds. I raised my glass to no one in particular, to betrayals that break you open, to the courage it takes to walk through the wreckage instead of pretending it isn't there, to red lace and gold ribbons and the unexpected clarity they can bring, and to the woman who finally chose herself. I took a long sip. The wine was perfect. So was the quiet. So was the life stretching out in front of me, unscripted, unapologetic, entirely mine.